The Shark Deck.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Variety caught up with Ego Nwodim and asked her, if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing? Ego said, I was pre-med because I'm Nigerian American and pretty much all parents want us to be doctors. I was a business minor as well in college. I love my business classes. I love my accounting class. Doing a ledger was very fun to me. I don't think I'd be an accountant. I'd be a headhunter, a recruiter, because I love helping people find what they're looking for. If you said, I'm looking for a pair of pants, I'd be like, what kind? What style? She took that question quite seriously. Most comedians would have clowned around there. All right, what made you laugh the most watching SNL before you were on it? And she said, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Will Ferrell, and Tracy Morgan. I loved watching them. Tracy was always so funny, and then getting to see him on 30 Rock just solidified that for me. Now that I'm there, Heidi Gardner makes me laugh a lot. She just embodies a character so well. Andy Dismukes makes me laugh a ton. James Austin Johnson's really freaking funny. Everyone I work with is so funny. That's not a fair question. Kevin Hart has been out and about promoting Die Hard 2. MovieWeb asked him about the action in Die Hard 2, said there are so many great scenes to go through, especially when you look at your sparring partner, people like John Cena. What's it like working with him? Kevin said, John Cena was great. We were very lucky to have him. He's an amazing talent, a world star of today's time. His success is warranted. He's a tremendous athlete, a tremendous personality in the space of wrestling, so to mirror that, to match that was a no-brainer. How much did you prep? In this one, my size is no match, of course, for John Cena's. I just try to come in with a significant amount of personality. But there are moments in the movie where the alignment or jousting from he to I are ones where the audience is going to run away remembering afterward, our fight scene especially. So I would say, buckle up. James Corden was at the Paley Fest. The Late Late Show is just about to die. The last one, April 27th, and they're not bringing it back. There will be no next host of The Late Late Show. Corden said they have 12 episodes left to do. They probably have fewer now, and they'll likely be the biggest show that he's ever done. These will include 3 carpool karaoke sessions and one of his famous Crosswalk the Musical segments where he ties up traffic in LA and really ticks people off, as well as the teased Lion King musical performance with James Corden and Tom Cruise. Corden will also participate in a Take a Break segment with the Kardashian family. I don't think I've ever seen an episode of James Corden Late Late Show. I've seen clips. I don't think I've ever actually watched the show. Corden revealed one of the craziest ideas that they never got to, which would have been Jennifer Lopez living with him in a glass box suspended over Sunset Boulevard for an entire day to promote her 2022 Netflix documentary, Halftime. He says it feels strange to be ending the show. It's not right because you're having such a great time. I get to go to work with all my best friends, but at the same time, I'm so certain it's the right thing to do. I'm so absolutely certain that we did everything we wanted to do, and I think it's really important to have things end. TK Kirkland is going to film a comedy show in Bermuda, April 15th. TK Kirkland, billed as the underground king of comedy, will be the star of the stage April 15th. A local said there's never ever been a comedy special shot in Bermuda. Others have done it in Cuba or whatever, but not Bermuda, so it's a big deal. He's going to film it in Bermuda, and then it'll be picked up by a major network, either Hulu, TV One, Netflix, whoever's going to pay him the most money. But for us as a country, as an island, we will be showcased. If you want to go, April 15th, 8:30 p.m. in Bermuda. Be prepared for, quote, strong language, is the warning on the ticket. Chris Gethard talked to Broadway World, and they asked, hey, what's your process like when it comes to sitting down and writing out a show? Gethard said, my writing process tends to be a lot of bullet points in a notebook and notes on my phone. Then on any given night, I'll start organizing those bullet points to see, all right, if this follows this, does it build momentum? Are there callbacks to start the show up if I place things in different places? A lot of it is just random scrawls in a notebook that if you sat down and looked at it, there's no one else on earth who could possibly decipher what I was going for. I've often said if I ever drop my notebook on the ground and someone found it, I think they might call the police because it's almost Unabomber level strange chicken scratch. At the end of the day, no matter how much you put in the notebook, you have to get up on stage, you have to try it, you have to bomb, you have to eat it. I have done that many times with this material as well, particularly at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, where I kept bombing and rebuilding it. That's a painful but necessary process. He said, I'm really jealous of musician friends of mine. They don't have to get up and play a half-finished song in front of an audience to see how it goes. And if they have a song people like, they get to play it forever. Comedians, throw it out once we've released it somewhere, and we pray we have a few more jokes in us on the other side. If you like what I do here, you go to buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. I told you yesterday that my iced coffee was almost empty. You can hear it. It's really almost empty now, and apparently it's been sitting here for 24 hours, and it's gotten quite warm, and the ice has melted and stuff. You didn't record Friday and Saturday back-to-back, John, did you? No, I've just been sitting here hoping someone would buy me a fresh iced coffee that has actual ice in it, but I guess not. If you feel bad, go to buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. Good way to support the show. Jordan Strauss's album is called The Funny Thing About Cancer. He says you have to be able to laugh at it. That's one lesson that he learned after his wife's cancer diagnosis. Jordan and Chelsea Strauss were planning their wedding in March of 22 when Chelsea's knee, which had been bothering her for almost a year, began to be unbearably painful. Turned out she had bone cancer. Yuck. Strauss said the treatment was very aggressive, 6 rounds of chemo and a major surgery on her leg. They wanted to go through the wedding even though she had to start aggressive chemo just 2.5 weeks before their wedding day. 2 days before the wedding, Chelsea was hospitalized with a fever. Was told she wouldn't be able to leave until her fever came down for a full 48 hours. She begged and pleaded. They let her out for a quick ceremony. Then she had to go back to the hospital. Jordan says, it does seem a little odd, a comedy album about my wife's cancer diagnosis, but I wrote it with a thought in mind that I want this to be enjoyed by people that are going through the same thing. He's got a website. You can pay whatever you want. It's a digital download. 20% of all proceeds will be donated to Bone Cancer Research Foundations. Chelsea's cancer's in remission. She's finished her chemotherapy. They're about to celebrate their 1-year wedding anniversary. The Age, taking a look at some of the shows at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. One of them is Dave Woodhead. He's the host of Triple J's Lunch on the radio. And he said, we get hundreds of thousands of people listening at any point, and I feel nothing. When I go on stage, even if it's just 10 people in the crowd, I get very nervous and I start shaking. It's not just being nervous, it's the adrenaline kicking in. It's such a rush the whole time. So I'm a radio guy, and I can tell you, anytime we do a big live show, I still would get nervous. I think it's just normal. If I didn't feel nervous, I would feel weird. You get that adrenaline rush. I feel you, Dave Woodhead. When he was growing up, he joined the festival's class clown competition for teens. He said, I kind of cracked the code that if you chucked a couple of jokes into the presentation, got the teachers laughing, that'd start bumping up your grades. He saw an ad for class clowns. He decided to give it a shot. And a week leading into it, I remember being so irritable and really on edge. Just before he took the stage, he suffered a classic high school situation, an American Pie moment, where I completely ripped my jeans in the worst place, right next to the crotch. I had to do the first show holding my shirt down. But as soon as I got my first big laugh, was the first time I'd relaxed in a week, I suddenly felt calm and at ease. The rush is why you keep doing it after a while, to chase that feeling. He's learned that the comedy festival is a mental game too. And he said, when you're doing a show every night, you want to impress the audience, but you're also hanging around with comics. So there's almost a competitive thing in that. There's just all this unnecessarily BS that can cloud what you're actually trying to do. But the biggest challenge when doing the festival is to remember to have fun. But remember, the comedy is a fun thing, and the people who have come out that night just want to see you have a good time. Dave Woodhead's show, Lunch for Dinners, at Trades Hall if you're in Melbourne, all the way through April 23rd, but not on Wednesdays. He's off on Wednesdays. Maybe he plays volleyball. Who knows? Let's head on over to the website and see who is playing on Sunday. Now, Sunday is Easter. Does the festival have a lot of shows on Easter? Do people go to comedy shows in Australia on Easter? James Roke's show is called Badong. Ever since he was a little kid, James has always been called by his family by his Filipino nickname, Badong. Now, after turning 30, he's asking the question, is it time to retire their name? Metro Mag said, my favorite show of the festival. Okay. So before we hear the clip, I have to cherry pick it. He dropped a lot of F-bombs. The setup here is about a song and the lyrics to the song, and the punchline is that the couple in the song have had sex 4 straight days. Then he did some crowd work. Let's jump in.
It's fine if you don't. What's your name, bro? Joe, you're like, oh, Joe. Look, it's fine, Joe. It's fine if you don't. No one does. I don't. I'm going to be upfront with you. No one does, right? Joe, I'm getting a vibe with you. That, like, if I made like an R&B group with you and like hopped in the booth and made our own remix of that song, it would go something like this. It would go, met her on a Monday, took her for a drink on Tuesday, sent her a text on Wednesday, and on Thursday and Friday and Saturday, I still haven't heard from her. Like, that's...
Let's do one more here. Boy, this website is getting slower every day. I hope you guys like this international stuff. I just find it interesting to hear some different voices rather than, say, talk about Bert Kreischer every single day, you know? Oh, here's Bron Lewis. We talked about Bron yesterday.
Hi, guys. I'm Bron. I live in Brisbane. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's Australia's biggest suburb. Yeah. Took us ages to get COVID up in Queensland. But if I'm honest, it takes us ages to get anything. So... It's really nice for me to be here. I've left at home in Brizzy I always get this wrong, an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old. Yeah. None of them are mine. Just a very bad babysitter. No, they're mine. 3 kids. What a slut.
All right, a little slow start there, but okay. You know who else is playing in Melbourne on Sunday? Kyle Kinane. Imagine I went all the way to Melbourne and I just saw Kyle Kinane. That would not be a good choice. I mean, I love Kyle Kinane, but I don't need to fly 19 hours to do that. And that is your comedy news for today. On tomorrow's show, a look at all 150 comedy specials released this year. Now, by a look at, I mean Johnny Mac reads you 150 things. I don't have time to analyze 150 comedy specials or watch them or whatever. But if you want the full list of everything that's come out this year, check out the back end of tomorrow's podcast. Normal stuff at the top. I did that at the end. It's seriously 12 minutes of me reading a list. I'm not sure it was the best idea, so I moved it to the end. But the front of the show is normal, and I'll meet you back here tomorrow. See you then. Can I interest you in some meatballs made out of mammoth meat? No? All right, hi, I'm Johnny Mac, host of 5 Good News Stories. It's a twice-a-week podcast where I share some upbeat stories like the dog who only will respond to commands if you use an Irish brogue. Or what about the guy who's filling potholes with noodles? Or the woman who, congratulations, she passed her driver's license. Oh, by the way, it was her 960th try. You heard me correctly. It's 5 Good News Stories. Nice, easy way to start your morning. 5 Good News Stories. The number 5 Good News Stories, wherever you get your podcasts.
Is your new year still falling flat? Do you avoid stairs with multiple steps? You are not alone. This year, millions will be diagnosed with low energy or low E. But Planet Fitness has the cure. With clean, spacious clubs and tons of equipment, you can boost your energy after one workout. Leave low E behind and find your big fitness energy at Planet Fitness. Join in the free PF app for $1 down, $10 a month.
Join the judgment-free zone today. Deal extended to Wednesday, April 12th.
See Home Club for details.